Hello everybody and welcome to the Port Arthur Historic Site. I'm going to show you around today. So it cost us $40 to get in, which was a little bit steep given the fact that they'd already run out of walking tours for this morning. So we're going to do a self-guided tour, and then in about 10 minutes we are going to get the ferry and do a cruise of Port Arthur. The first place we're going to is the Memorial Garden, which goes back to the tragic shooting that happened on the 28th of April 1996, where a gunman took the lives of 35 people and also wounded 19 people whilst they were visiting the Port Arthur Historic Site. And here is the cross and the names. This was originally the Broad Arrow Cafe, where 20 people were killed during the massacre. As you can see, it's now a garden. They've changed it from the cafe it once was. And here we have the Canadian Cottage, which looks out onto the historic site and the water, which is beautiful. And this cottage is from the 1920s and would house families that went fishing. Got a beautiful track here looking onto the water. Oh, I love Tasmania. Beautiful. So we're on the jetty now, waiting to board this boat.
Now, the most plentiful and most valuable raw material here was timber. Various species of eucalypts, which were described as being 150 feet to the first branch. Convicts produced anything from broomsticks to boats and ships. And this clearing we're coming alongside on your left-hand side is a dockyard where they produced around 200 vessels altogether. The majority of these were longboats or whale boats. Whaling was a major industry in this early colony of Van Diemen's Land, so you can imagine craft like that being in big demand, and ships would travel from all over the world to hunting these very fertile waters.
This is the Isle of the Dead, and at the top of it there are some headstones. Directly over the water we're looking at the penitentiary, and then also the tower on the left is the guard tower. And the building that you can see on the hill above the penitentiary is the law courts. And over here is Government Gardens, looking onto the penitentiary, the law courts and the guard tower. Here's what it looked like in 1870, and here's the ruins now. Oh, a tower, a fountain, sorry. Very nice. Going into the penitentiary now. Inside the penitentiary now. And this is where the laundry, baths and linen stores were. Ooh. Here is the ablutions area. you can see that it has different levels, and I read a sign that said that the worst behaved prisoners were on the bottom levels and the better behaved prisoners were on the upper levels of the penitentiary. Here's what a door would be, and so this shows that each one of these walls would be a cell, so it is teeny tiny.
Doorway to get in.
Wow. Interestingly, they have these surge protection barriers, so presumably the water gets so high that this whole area will be underwater. Going into the top of the penitentiary now. Here are the law courts. So we're inside the law courts now. Got a fireplace. Another one. There you can see the watchtower. Another fireplace. Must get chilly. Lots of fireplaces.
He does.
We've got some view. Over there we have the hospital. Here are the officers' quarters, the guard tower, and the law courts and the penitentiary. Very pretty with the guard tower. Here we have the officers' quarters.
Two double cottages, each contain 2 families.
Ooh. Exclusive limited edition.
See here.
Nice fireplace.
Is that a whatever place?
Ah, here we go.
That
You've been in.
Oh, modern they were, they had a switchboard.
And here are the senior military officers' quarters called Rose Cottage. Ahead of us we have the stables and the laundry, then we have the servants' quarters over in the quarter, the
Carriage house.
carriage house here, and then the Commandant's house there. And here at the top we have a semaphore signal station.
Sorry?
So this tower sends messages to a tower just by the white building in the centre, and they can get messages to Hobart in 15 minutes. And it took us about an hour and a half to drive here.
Yeah.
So that's incredible, they can get messages to Hobart in 15 minutes. Here's the guard tower, and now we're off to the Commandant's house, which already looks impressive. Here we go, the Commandant's house. Not too shabby. So we're in the Commandant's house. He's got the furry thing on his bed just like we have. Very nice indeed. And piano. A chandelier.
Dark places, aren't they?
Mm.
These lights on all that. Candles burning all that outside.
Here we have the police station. And on our way to the asylum, we have found a very pretty stream. And ahead of us is the asylum. Doo, doo, doo. Here is the asylum and the town hall. So we're currently in the separate prison. This looks like the chapel. They're squeezing through there. I think it could be the chapel, or maybe no, it can't be the law court. Teeny weeny.
You're going to stand in there for some reason and do something. Get talked back.
I don't know. We're still not sure what this part of the building is. We're pretty sure we've just come from the chapel, and they each had their separate places to stand, so they couldn't talk to each other, but they could still be involved in the service. And here we have what looks like some cells. fireplace.
So when it goes down.
So what does that do?
Or maybe it means it's locked maybe or something. It's like that, and then when that goes up, it's there so that people down there can see something.
They're all attached.
Yeah. Then you know they're all locked in maybe.
Hi, Reggie. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. I know. He's so cute. He's so good. Oh, wow. Alrighty. Here we have the visiting magistrates and whose house? Surgeon's house and the chaplain's house. Here we have the accountant's house. Indeed. Which is next to the post office.
It is open, but I don't know that we need to go in.
And here ahead of us is the ruins of the church or cathedral or chapel. So we've got St David's Church here, and then we've got the church from 1837 here. That would be incredible if it had the stained glass in.
Taking it somewhere else. The cottage there is government cottage.
Ah, thank you. Playing the chime. Would that be in here? It would be. The bells. So our final stop today at the Port Arthur Historic Site is Government Cottage, overlooking the Government Gardens. Oh, blue-tailed bird. So we've just stopped on our way to Wild Tasmania to do the swimming with seals because we saw this view and it's just spectacular.
Different to domestic animals, so they get scared easily. Yeah, humans are naturally the predators, so they're used to my voice, but yeah, other people not so much.
We have baby wombats. Oh my god. Hi everybody, I'm ready in my dry suit at Wild Ocean Tasmania, ready for my scenic tour and then swimming with seals. We'll update you later. Okay, here's the boat, Wild Ocean Tasmania boat. We're on the boat. Oh yeah, an eagle!
It's a white-bellied sea eagle.
Wow! There's the sea eagle. Did he get something?
Chest, yeah?
The sea eagle.
Yeah, so the younger ones actually are a bit bigger than the adult.
So there's the blowhole, which is what this place is named after.
Better and better as we go south, head down towards Cape Hoy in the distance. A lot of caves as we go along this first bit of coastline, and of course it's wave action on the wilder days that's responsible for chipping away at weak points in this type of rock. So vertical cracks here, they're the weak points, they're joints. Over time joints open up to caves. As caves go back, the back of the cave often collapses first, like this place, to form a bridge or archway, and then arches collapse to form like a little canyon or gulch. That's pretty typical erosion process in sedimentary type rocks, no matter where you are on coastlines around the world, and of course here is no exception. This rock is sedimentary, of course, layering effect. This is Permian mudstones. This was laid down in the Permian era, like 265 million years ago, so it's super old, relatively soft in geological terms, so it does erode away relatively quickly. So a lot of caves you can't see from land on good chunky swell days. These are blowholes, but luckily for us, you know, being below 40 degrees in latitude, you know, we're in a prevailing, you know, weather stream or air stream which is westerly. So from southwest, like yesterday, to northwest, 300 days a year. Bloody windy here, but it's generally offshore. We only get maybe a dozen weather patterns with an easterly component, like the storm that hit Sydney like 2 weeks ago. They track down the edge of the east coast, usually and work their way across to New Zealand. East coast lows, they're called. They form above warm water usually this time of year, and they bring like up to telegraph pole high swell in here. So you can see the erosion on the wall there. That's how high waves get here.
Wow.
That's the Devil's Kitchen. That's a collapsed archway. Back there was the Tasman Arch, of course. Probably check these places out from above. So yeah, we just got a little bit of residue swell wrapping around. And yesterday, you know, probably 60 to 80 foot, you know, waves on the south coast. Offshore, they had to 120 feet waves.
Wow.
40 meters. Yeah, chunky, but it's super windy. You know, obviously they had over 100 km/h winds. You got two cyclones that converged, or two lows that converged off WA. You know, you got this weather pattern, you know, now out to sea between here and New Zealand. It's going to wind up by Wednesday. The swell's going to kick again this direction. While the next weather pattern comes in from the west. So hectic here. Anyway, we'll take each day as it comes.
Yeah.
Keep it moving. Get around the corner. Here we go. goes into this, have a quick look. That's the colour of the ocean, pretty awesome.
Wow. Going into the cave. Will we get back out? Hello! Ooh! That is crazy. I think we should leave immediately. Backing out.
Beautiful colours in here.
Yeah, amazing colours.
So that's caused by an algae called coralline algae. So like the coral and the reef is quite hard. And it's like a micro habitat really for little animals, little fish, or kites if they would graze on it. And it's a really good colour to absorb sunlight and low light conditions. So that's why the pink algae grows in the caves, and on the outside you see the green water.
Yeah.
Green is a better colour to absorb sunlight for photosynthesis. So this is all national park around us here. This bay in front of us is called Waterfall Bay. After there's actually half a dozen of waterfalls here. This is the biggest one. And beautiful hikes. I don't know how long you guys are down before, but there's a beautiful walk all the way along the edge of the cliff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely worth it. Just want to tell your mates when they get the chance.
Yeah.
Okay, so waterfall here, creek comes out of the forest before it works its way down 130 metres from the top to the bottom. So after we get really heavy localised rainfall, you can imagine this gets pumping and we get maybe 6 or 7 waterfalls out of the forest around here. So obviously fresh water straight out of a rainforest, and a bit of temperate wilderness, and beautiful clean water. Not many places in Australia, let alone the world, that you have a waterfall 130 metres high into the ocean. Alright. Cool, you going alright?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's incredible.
They might as well start out light.
And it's such a beautiful blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably 45 metres. So
Oh, right. Wow.
yeah, underwater caves here. Yeah, the colour,
Yeah, that's impressive.
yeah, the colour in the ocean is you don't know, is actually caused from an abundance of microscopic plants that exist in the world's seas called phytoplankton. And phytoplankton, smallest plant material in the world, only around 3 microns or 3,000th of a millimetre.
Wow.
And this stuff, smallest plant material on the planet, yet the most abundant. They say that this stuff outgrows the combination of every single living plant on the planet, both above and below the water, each year in foliage growth. So it's estimated around 6 billion tonnes of this stuff is produced in the world's coolest seas each year. And of course, where we are now, we're on the edge of the biggest cool or temperate sea environment on the planet, which is the Southern Ocean. So this stuff, you know, obviously being the most abundant plant material, is going to be responsible for absorbing most of the world's carbon dioxide. And on average, latest research showing now, around or up to 85% of the world's CO2 is absorbed from this stuff, and obviously over 80% of the world's oxygen is released from it. It is the first and fundamental reason why you and I actually exist on planet Earth, and yet most people, especially in our circles, know more about how to put an app on a bloody iPhone than they do about where half the air that they breathe comes from. Isn't that crazy? We get educated, fit the matrix, not to learn actually how we actually stand upright. The planet's got no chance. And most humans don't even know how long humans have been on the planet, and most people don't even know why they actually exist or the fundamental factors that make it happen. Yet people can program computers and design bridges across rivers, or like do your books for accounting. Isn't it weird? But what's more important, yeah, like it's crazy. Everything we do, every single second of our lives revolves around burning fossil fuel. Even what we're doing right now, which is obviously detrimental, to the oceans, as excess carbon builds in the atmosphere. Plant can only absorb so much. You start to get carbon saturation in the ocean surface, which creates carbonic acid. That is ocean acidification, and that is another 2 weeks of me sitting here talking. So we'll keep it moving. Thing is, if you guys love phytoplankton,
there's a fur seal.
You'll spot them probably all around the coast. You probably got flushed up there in a big wave yesterday. They haul that way anywhere. These are all lobster traps and crayfish traps.
Seals!
So we won't stop here too long because of the weather, so there will be many more seals down at Cape Town. But yeah, these are the long-nosed fur seals I was talking about earlier. So relatively small compared to the Australian fur seal. That's actually the other eagle in the tree too. Just in front of us now, 1 o'clock.
We love you too, okay? Grey pots. Oh, that was when Susie's driving the other day. I've got to keep.
Can you see the rainbow?
Through there, and a bit of precipitation, so it looks like an aurora. Yeah, awesome.
A double rainbow.
Yeah, getting there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then the opposite, hey? The double's opposite.
I had a question about the aurora. How often do you see it down here?
Some seals on the rocks.
Probably like
More seals. Hi. Hi. I know.
Yes.
They're so cute.
arguing.
Oh, don't argue.
Behind big squeal or cough, these are long, majority of these are long-nosed fur seals. All these are long-nosed fur seals, pretty small.
Oh my goodness.
Beauties.
Oh my goodness.
Bigger tanny coloured ones over to the left of us. There's a couple there. They're Australian
Sea
fur
looks
seals. They get
amazing.
massive. Wow, look at the colour. What it is.
It looks incredible.
Yeah.
Where's that other one?
So quite a few seals scattered all up through the boulders here. They blend in well. So long-nosed fur seals. Females only get to about 50 or 60 kilos. Males get up to about 150.
Wow.
So they would come up when they'd get washed up onto the rock?
No, they're great rock climbers.
They're moving around on the rocks. Then we've got some more sleepy ones over here. Well, they need to be careful. Don't want them to fall in. Oh, he's stretching his flippers. Oh, uh-oh. Is he gonna... Oh!
And see the big males over there with their noses up in the air, sort of behind the rocks. So that's typical male behavior. So they're just like dogs, really. They like to test each other's skills. And the dominant one. So that's the threatening pose, nose up in the air.
Wow.
Says look all big and scary, but yeah, showing their teeth. But it's mainly bluff, so they don't usually hurt each other too much. Not like elephant seals where things can get pretty bloody.
67 metres high, that one finger.
There's the totem pole.
Yeah, well, famous rock climbing finger.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Strength of this rock. If people walk out here, abseil off the cliff, pendulum swing across the bottom of that, and then attempt to climb it. It's really scary.
Wow. That's insane. Hello.
Nice light, isn't it?
Hi, seals. Here's the baby.
Gap here, so coming up, the camera's big from this side, the other side of Cape Point in front of us, lush around here, just at the top of the totem pole, might get a few little glimpses of the sun, there's a few more seals in here.
Oh yeah.
And there are lots of seals in the rocks.
Seals and whales were hunted severely. Over 500,000 recorded killed, maybe up to 1 million, including unrecorded ones. And to this day, there's only 1,000 of these left. Numbers are never recovered, and they never will now. We're pretty well, probably only a year old. Look at these folks, like, these guys like us, our eyes are useless. So, you know, when you're the tastiest thing in the ocean, for big predators like sharks and orcas, you know, nice to have a little bit of the heads up. Look at this seal to the left, there, skinny in his, like when he turns, you can see his shoulder blades and stuff. Yeah, the other guys look pretty chubby. Yeah, it's not hot rock.
Oh dear.
They've tagged seals here and they've done 700 or 800 kilometres. So, you know, you and I would probably chill for a few days too.
Yeah.
But, you know, generally, like if it's a female who's, you know, got a pup that she's feeding, she's sort of got to feed herself every day and come back to feed the pup. So she'll keep it more local. And then in later lactation period, as the pup gets a bit older, over 6 months old. Here, flying
The
around
shy
the world
albatross.
here in 7 weeks. They can do that without stopping, fly with eventually asleep, they pair up for life, they're monogamous. So if their partner dies, they stay single for the rest of their lives. They've even been known to go back to offshore islands where they nest, not this one, but off the south coast of Tassie, build the nest, sit there and wait until they, just...
Wow!
Yeah, hard work. They love this. Usually...
Right, it's safe and sound. Sadly, we didn't see any seals swimming. That's a shame, but still a marvellous time, absolutely fantastic. The scenery looked like it was something from Kong on Skull Island, that King Kong film. The scenery was just amazing, but yeah, fantastic. Anyway, gonna head back, get changed out of my wet gear, or wet weather gear, and yes, we'll report back either later or tomorrow.